Hey everybody, this is Kyle Tucker here with another video, and it has been cold here in central Alabama, like really cold. We have cold patches here in Alabama from time to time, but it has just been extremely cold for a long period of time. But this is a lawn care channel, so I thought about the top 10 cold weather tips that I want to share with you guys. Hopefully I can answer some questions that you may have about your lawn throughout the winter months. But these are my top 10 cold weather tips that I'm going to share with you guys. Starting with number 1, there is no such thing as winterizing your lawn for winter. So a lot of these big companies that sell products at the big box stores, they talk about winterizing your yard, and you may have even seen this wording on packaging, winterize your lawn, winterizing. But what they're talking about when they talk about winterizing your yard, most of the time they're just talking about winter pre-emergent, which is essentially just preventing your weeds from popping up next spring and summer. But as far as protecting the roots of your grass or protecting your lawn from freezing temperature, there is no such thing as winterizing your yard for that. Especially here with our warm season turf grasses, Bermuda, zoysia, St. Augustine, centipede. All of our grasses go dormant here in the wintertime. And your grass goes dormant to protect itself from freezing temperatures. So there's nothing you need to do to put on your grass to protect it from the cold, because it just naturally goes dormant to protect itself. So there is no product out there that is essentially a winterizer to protect your yard from cold temperatures. But I mentioned pre-emergent, so that brings me to my second point, or my second tip, and that is apply your winter pre-emergent. So we're at the end of January right now, and it is just extremely cold, but it's never too cold to apply your pre-emergent. This is the time of year to get your winter pre-emergent down, because we're already thinking about those spring and summertime weeds. So if you get your pre-emergent down now, this is kind of that window of opportunity you have to get ahead of the game, to get ahead of those summer weeds like crabgrass and some of those broadleaf weeds that pop up in the summer that are pesky. So get your pre-emergent down right now. If you get it down before the end of February, you should be safe. I like to get my winter pre-emergent down in the months of January and February, so go ahead and get that done. The next tip I want to give is to remove your leaves. Now, if all of the leaves have fallen and you don't have any more leaves to remove, that's great. That's fantastic. Then you can just start trying to relax throughout the rest of the winter season. But a lot of people, there might still be some leaves that are falling. Try to stay on that leaf removal, and not just leaves, but little twigs and pine cones and debris, things like that. Try to remove all that from your yard. A lot of times these acorns like this can just pile up, and anything that is preventing sunlight from penetrating the soil is bad for your lawn. Even when your grass is dormant, it still needs sunlight and airflow to stay alive. Your grass is not dead in the wintertime. Even though it's brown, it is just dormant. It's still alive, but it's dormant. So try to stay on top of that leaf removal, debris removal, just to allow sunlight and all the natural nutrients that your lawn needs, even throughout the winter months. My next tip is to avoid walking on frosted grass. Now, I know that can be tough when it comes to your daily routine, or maybe just the layout of your property. It could be difficult to not walk on your grass when it's frosted, but especially try to avoid high traffic on frosted grass, just to prevent blade damage and any sort of damage to your grass when it has frost on it. If you've ever walked on grass while it has frost on it, you can just hear it crunching underneath, and you may or may not be doing damage, but I just like to stay off of it as much as I can while the frost is on your grass. The next tip I have is to raise your mowing height throughout the winter months and mow less frequently. You're obviously not having to mow as often as you do in the spring and summer and even the fall, because the grass is not growing. It's dormant right now. But if you do want to mow some more. Just raise your mowing height. You want a little more height on your grass, because the taller your grass is in the winter months, it essentially protects the roots of the grass from the freezing temperatures. So it's kind of creating a canopy there to prevent that frost damage and winter damage from getting to the roots of your grass. So you typically want to raise your mowing height throughout the winter months and then just mow less frequently. Unless, going back to the tip about removing your leaves, you can mulch those leaves up. Get out there on your lawnmower and mulch those leaves up. That's just fine. But you want to avoid getting out here and making donuts. I don't know who's been out here making donuts out here, but you definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, feel free just to mulch your leaves, remove all that debris. The next tip I have is to aerate your yard. Now, I know we're in the middle of winter right now, and I typically don't start aerating until the spring, but I don't think you're going to do any damage by aerating your yard this time of year. Just get on top of it. Now, you may want to just wait until the end of February when spring is right around the corner, but doing an aeration on your yard allows sunlight and airflow to get down into your soil to kind of loosen it up. And then that kind of gets you ahead of the game with when it comes to spring green up. And I want to talk about watering. You really don't have to water your yard throughout the winter months. Most people turn the irrigation off when the first frost happens back in the fall and early winter. So there's no need to be watering your yard right now. And some people will disagree with me. Some people will say to water once a week deeply throughout the winter months, but that's really not necessary. That there's no need to do that. We get enough rainfall here throughout our winter months. Winter and spring is really our rainy season, so there's really no need to water your yard. So feel free to turn those irrigation systems off, and that will also protect your lines from freezing. We've been going into the teens at night lately, so hopefully nobody's watering their yard because they've got some frozen pipes. Next tip is to apply lime. Granular lime. I made another video about lime. Feel free to tune into that, scroll through my videos and find that. But lime is very crucial to your lawn. And you want to apply lime this time of year in the winter, because it takes lime a while to break down and get to the soil level. So go ahead and put out some lime this time of year. I would say anywhere between December through the end of February is kind of the prime time for putting out lime. And I know the grass is not growing during these months, but you want to go ahead and get that lime down so that when spring comes, that lime will be dissolved and down into the roots of the grass, and it'll be ready to help your grass benefit from that lime. Now, again, I made another video about lime, but the purpose of lime is to really raise the pH level of your soil. When your soil or when your lawn has a higher pH, it just helps take in the nutrients better, such as fertilizer, and then just the natural nutrients. So the higher your pH is, the better your lawn is going to take in those nutrients. So go ahead and put some lime out this time of year, and you'll see the benefits of that when spring comes. Tip number 9 is equipment maintenance. Now, this is the down time of year when it comes to using your equipment, unless you're out mulching some leaves up, but that's just kind of a once or twice kind of random thing. So use this downtime to work on your equipment, sharpen some mower blades, or just change the oil. Do whatever you need to do when it comes to equipment maintenance. This is a great time of year to work on all of your equipment and get it ready for spring. Now, number 10, my last cold weather tip that I'm going to give you is sort of controversial, but it's about overseeding your yard. Now, there's a select few people out there that like to overseed their yard throughout the winter time. They just like their grass to be green all year, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But here with our warm season turf grasses, again, I deal with Bermuda, zoysia, St. Augustine, centipede grass. I don't like to overseed my yards, and I'll tell you why. All winter long, all of the nutrients are going to your overseeded grass to keep it green throughout the winter. And it never fails when spring comes and the temperatures start to warm back up and that overseeded ryegrass starts dying off. Your normal grass, your sodded grass like Bermuda and zoysia that you overseeded on top of, that grass is extremely slow to come out of dormancy. And it's just weak all spring and all summer long. But that's because all of the nutrients that grass typically needs is just wasted on the overseeded grass. So I don't think it's worth it to overseed your yard. Again, that's controversial. There's going to be some people that disagree with me there, but that's just my opinion. So I would skip the whole overseeding process and just let your grass go dormant naturally the way that it's supposed to. Just let it be brown and tan all winter long, and just skip the whole overseeded process. Now, I'm going to give you a little bonus tip here, but just watch out for, you can just call this number 11, but watch out for winter damage. Now, you're not going to know if you have winter damage until next spring when the grass is coming out of dormancy. But when we've had these extreme cold nights where it goes down into the teens, and even Saturday, I think they're saying it's going to go down into the single digits. That's rare here for central Alabama. So watch out for winter damage, and you're going to see that next spring. So there's really nothing you can do to prevent that from happening. This is just a tip for something to watch out for. So if you have sections of your yard that are slow to green up next spring, or maybe it's not greening up at all and it just looks dead, chances are that's winter damage or winter injury from these extreme cold temperatures. So just remember that next spring if you see that. I really appreciate you guys watching. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.